Hi, and welcome to this very special edition of a video presented on the Bruce Seasall Research Channel. Do any of you, and I know a lot of you do, have any idea how hard it is to document and then show, after especially finding movements like lights changing positions or, distances between them and writing all that down? It's not easy. Here, 218, started researching in 216 on the moon, and when I started, got right into the game, and I guess people really appreciated the way I was viewing the moon, but it created a lot of jealousy, I think, like in any field. Do you notice the tower Plato crater? Did you see it? You didn't? Well, let's go back and see that again, and of course I'm going to slow it down this time. This was with a 4-inch and 3/4 telescope under 5 inches that I was able to present the moon this way. I was seeing the real colors with the color camera. Of course, the idea was to up the quality. Here's the tower, or towering object. See it grow? Look at its shadow beside it. Is that a big radar or telescope? Radar telescope, or I don't know, eh? Radio telescope. That's what I was looking for. The word I was looking for. Getting old, eh? Radar, radio. So when I started showing objects in the hazes on the moon, it wasn't easy. As you can see here, there's always a little bit of pixelation. You see the spotting appearing in the crater, those black spots? Well, I don't mention them. They're definitely not creatures, but that object that just went by really was something for real. In this video, we're going to see UFOs exiting craters. We're going to see UFOs smoking the surface. We're going to see what looks like real biological creatures. A word I love saying, living organisms on the moon, in the atmosphere of the moon. I believe they exist. You know why? Because of the visual proof I was able to capture. You're going to see later on in the video incredible footage. So this is on Earth's side, obviously, because I'm filming it, and it's right in front of our faces. It's that the exposure on a camera, right? When it's too bright and you descend the exposure down, sometimes you see a lot more things. Nothing complicated here. And another thing is that all these objects flying around in the lunar atmosphere, you must have noticed that they all have the same reflectivity, right? And appearance in luminosity, is well said, as compared to the surface. So they're hard to distinguish, the differences between them, and they're hard to even see. So don't wonder why I'm so close to be able to see them, because they're not, yes, they're big, but they're definitely not seen very big with a telescope, that's for sure. Nothing really to explain aside from we're seeing a lot of smokes and hazes, but here on YouTube, that's what people fight about, whether the smokes are just hazes. I've mentioned sublimation, which is the transformation from water to a solid or frozen form to a gaseous form. And this is also what we could be seeing. But aside from that, I'm not really interested in that. I'm interested in all the people that are on the moon. You're going to see structures later on, explained in detail also. So this video shows everything. You see a light there. See how I didn't cut the footage and how that light appeared? And you can even see a dark object at the head of it, but I'll zoom up, don't worry. There's lots of time during the video. It's a long video, and first of all, we're not going to get many views on this video when I make long videos like this, and I do all the work. So all of you are doing all the effort to come here. I mean, don't you agree with me that others should be recommended by YouTube and sent here to the channel? Because that's how usually the algorithm works, but it seems that some channels are just broken, I guess, right? So is my heart. Listen, we have to laugh about it, because obviously no matter how hard anybody tries to convince someone something or show someone anything, I'm not trying to convince no one. I'm trying just to show people the videos. I'd love people coming by and having their own opinions like you all do. So now when we talk about UFOs, what am I supposed to say? Hey, look at the UFO. And someone's going to say, what the hell is that? Well, we're on the surface of the moon, and I would say just over the hazes, just before we see the real colorful surface, this object can't really see, he's flying by. He is flying by, but he's sort of also inching like some bug there. right? It does literally look like a bug. It probably is giant bug. Watch the lights appear and disappear and the smokes that appear around it. I'm going to show you, look at that. 3 thrusting fires around it on top of it. I could get into those details, but I don't think they really appreciate that. This 218, by the way. Look at the fires around it. All proof on the surface. We're going to see what looks like chemtrailing UFOs on the surface also. That's right. You could be the judge for yourself. I'm not lying to you. The title was pretty extravagant. Well, or maybe it wasn't, depending on how I felt. I mean, there's no clickbait here. What I mentioned in the title is exactly in this video. And again, everything I say here is not fact. It's my opinion. Right? Even what I tell you about space and what I look up and even what NASA tells me, it's just all opinionated, and there's nothing wrong with that. But seeing these lights and many different captures on the surface of the moon, it's just, even this frame here is enough proof. When you see them lifting up off of the surface, they come out of the craters. I've showed this quite a few times, and it should interest the entire world. If they had a chance to see it, it probably would. Here's Plato Crater. Literally a UFO coming out of the edge of Plato Crater. And I'll show you again further in the video another region, one of my favorites near Mare Fecunditatis, where the UFO is literally coming out of the surface. So it's not hard to understand what you're looking at. You're looking at me zoomed up, really close. And obviously we can only get so close as before the image pixelates and the video pixelates. So there's lots what we can do. The bigger the camera is, lots of cameras have give you thousands of times zoom, as obviously my high definition Celestron CGXL 14-inch telescope also has a great zoom efficiency on it, depending on the camera at the back, obviously, because you're just literally looking through a tube when you're looking through a telescope. This Plato Crater, an object comes up and out of the inside of the crater. It's seen very, very small, even on the camera. So, right, jumping right around. Some of these structures, dead center. Well, they're everywhere, but especially in the bottom center there. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. And the surface, you could clearly see that the way it's constructed, it makes sense, and it would tell us that there are literally, yeah, that's right, hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, right? Can we safely say thousands? Because you're not going to get a few hundred people to build all that setup on an entire moon and to be able to hide it. That's concluded. That's for sure. Here, the lighting up. You can see at the end of the arrow there, literally in over the atmosphere, and they light up for whatever the reasons they're doing so, whether it be, to go faster, whether they're turning something on or off, or it's a chemical reaction in the sky. One of my favorite captures, the UFO fleet that I caught, and I can't say nobody cares, but nobody realizes that they're winding left and right, and it's something incredibly important. Obviously something I thought ufologists would have lapped it up and just jumped on this and just gone with this for years, because we don't have very much footage of any proof of UFOs on the moon, aside from what the amazing public videos. But I mean, NASA, they don't show nothing. They don't show us what James Webb gets, except for that. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about the image. I'm not impressed with what they're showing, especially for the money they've invested in it, and time and effort, supposedly. Here's one coming out of the interior of the moon. You have to wonder, it's in Mare Fecunditatis, and this was captured also in 218. Here, 218 also. That's how I showed the surface with a 4 3/4 inch telescope. Yes, a Celestron telescope, which was still pretty good. Now, here we go. Let's get some music up with this. There's nothing I can explain. Take a little look at that, and then we're going to go look at some UFOs, what looks like chemtrailing the surface of the moon. Whatever it may be, you be the judge. Take a look at this. This is an implosion from a volcano, they said, where the center of the volcano caved in. Oh, come on. It's a big hole, I'll tell you that. It's on the surface and we can see it very, very well. Just to give you an idea, just this image is super scary. Imagine what can be hiding inside of that one area. We zoom up a little bit closer. We see a lot of details, connections, and things that look built along the surface. Just my opinion, right? Almost 7 years ago when I found out there was really greenery on the surface, I also mentioned, hey, it could be the structures that are green there. Not necessarily saying that it's vegetation, but it's patchy. It literally looks patchy. This, have you recognized the crater? It's Copernicus, a little cut off. Well, it's not cut off. It's the Terminator line on top is actually dark, and that's what it was exposing. And this Terminator line, the line of light and darkness, is what shows the elevation. I mentioned that in 2016, almost 7 years ago. It's going to be 6 years completed next month, guys, that I've been here. So thanks for all the ongoing support. You've just arrived to my channel for the first time, and even all of you that have been following me since the beginning, I've never showed this object. There's several of them that I capture similar to this, but this one out of this world. To be able to see propulsion, fire around it as it's descending into the atmosphere, it's getting lower to the surface. This is a spacecraft. It's not a movie you're watching. Want to look at the real spacecraft? Well, that's what it looks like seen with a telescope all the way from here on Earth. If I would have showed you the windows and USA written on the side, or Alien Co-op with USA and aliens together with their insignia, I mean, that would, let's be realistic. We're looking at objects very far away. Descending the exposure, we can see that there's a fire as it's going down to the surface. These are incredible captures that we don't see very often, obviously never, close to never. With a lot of luck and a lot of time and effort, obviously I was able to see and even show some of these objects to you. So we're extremely close. It's not pixelated here. Maybe you guys are seeing some pixelation, but either way, I'm showing the object on the not on the surface, but in the atmosphere for sure, without a doubt. One of the most incredible captures. This is why I do this research, to be able to show that, because this is what and
making clouds. I'm not making this up. I'm using common sense. You can see it for yourself. This amazing object is leaving a trail on the surface of the moon. Notice the beautiful proof that other mists, lights inside of mists, are going southwards as this one's going up northwest, spraying 2 or 3 mists. They're fairly large, several miles long. The small ones would be a mile, about half a mile to a mile long. The little lights, they're going everywhere. Clavius crater is on the bottom left here, the light that you're seeing starting to appear. Look at that blast of light that we just saw there. That was incredible.
Are you dizzy yet? I think I put too much in this video. The more I put, the less views I get. And it's true. Listen, I'm not going to hide it. It makes no sense that showing these chemtrails are spraying on the moon. I call them chemtrails. Again, opinion, not fact, but they are spraying. It's a definite object. What about that UFO craft I just showed? Hope people don't get too bored. Most of you probably didn't even make it to the spacecraft. And if you did, if you're still here, thank you. I appreciate it. So what's this? Well, it's a UFO with its shadow possibly touching the surface, because I want to mention exactly with emphasis how close it is to the surface. But watch the yellow gas that's going to come from it, the one on the left, whether they are two or it's the same one. Wow, did you see that? That's right, there's no filtering here. That's straight up with the color camera zooming up on the surface, and we're seeing mixture of everything from refraction to pixelation. Not much pixelation, but almost. I assume you guys are seeing some, and gals, I don't, because the videos are clearer here before I upload them, obviously. And there's that yellow gas, a yellow gas coming from what looks like a biological creature. Yeah, we're not in Kansas anymore, I'll tell you that. Watch it. Watch the gas come from it. Chemical reaction in the atmosphere of the moon. So I guarantee you they are doing something in the atmosphere of the moon. Humans or aliens or both of them are doing tests, and they're doing whatever the reason, they are doing something in the atmosphere of the moon. There's that massive plume of yellow fluorescent yellow gas, or a reaction with the oxygen in the atmosphere of the moon, maybe. I love saying that one because, listen, that's what we're seeing is a definite chemical reaction, or they're literally letting something off. There's a big net that looks like it's around it and go on for hours. Either way, I can't thank you all enough for the amazing support you give this channel, and thanks especially for coming back. A very special shout out to Greg Alvey and all generous contributions. Thanks, everyone.
Aliens are up there on the moon. They may be even coming right here soon. Aliens are landing on the moon. Yes, they are up there. Doesn't matter, cause disclosure's coming soon. Disclosure's coming soon.